A man who will risk it for the brisket. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. A choice are going to mandate you get it on. Dr. Drew's joining us in studio.
Get it on.
Get it on, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Gotta get it on.
When Shavo comes in from System of a Down, it obviously reminds us of our famous going out to dinner story. The
Carousel.
With System of a Down in Glendale. Yes, the restaurant named Carousel. That's, I don't know if you call it Armenian food.
Yeah, it is.
They go Armenian?
That's what they call it anyway.
They do.
I don't know if
they don't call it like Mediterranean or something.
I think it's full Armenian. There's a little bit of difference.
Well,
yeah.
If he gets here before you leave, I would just like to cover that story because as the years wear on, I like to hear everyone's version of everything. And I don't mean in a bullshit way. I just mean everyone's there.
Well, you know what's interesting to me?
Watching things from different perspectives.
Yeah, I agree.
We all saw the same thing at the time, but it's been 25 years.
Yeah, and I don't remember Shavo being there.
Oh, you don't?
No, I remember the band being there, but I don't remember Shavo, which is weird.
Why wouldn't Shavo?
I don't know.
But if you remember the band being there.
I remember there being at least two other guys there, and John.
Yeah, John
made the issue about the sandwiches.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. All right, so we'll see if Shavo was there.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, we had dinner with System of a Down.
What the whole point was, but it's weird to me. I wonder if it's because I became close with Shavo later.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it might be that.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys can have a wonderful, be reunited here.
Yeah.
All right. So I thought of you because somebody tweeted me a link or a chain or I don't know. There's too many names of stuff of like 15 things you got wrong. Not you. 15 things we got wrong about diets and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, sure.
And the reason I find myself drifting back to this is when somebody is telling you what's going on in terms of climate change or what's going on with COVID or what's going on with the oceans or the reefs, the coral reefs, the Great Barrier Reef, like when they're telling you what's going on and women are telling you got to put on sunscreen to go to the mailbox in the morning, even if it's pre-dawn, you know what I mean? And what everything's going to do to you and how much water you have to drink and how hydrated you have to stay and all this kind of stuff. I'm not listening to most of it now.
Wisely.
Yeah.
It's called growth.
Yeah. And so I told you just in my lifetime, the discussion of eggs. Eggs. So you take eggs.
Yeah.
Eggs are good. Time immemorial. Everyone ate eggs. That's what everyone who had breakfast had eggs.
Key source of protein in the American diet.
Right. And then
readily available.
At some point, mid-70s, we decided that eggs were bad and that you needed whole grains and cereals and whole grains and hearty, healthy grains. Yeah. Well, we're talking about breakfast.
Okay.
All right. And you needed grains. Yeah. No, pasta replaced steak.
Yeah.
But that's dinner.
People forget about that.
I'm on
that
eggs.
chapter. All right.
You get the eggs. Yeah. It happened about the same time.
Yes.
And so we needed to replace eggs with heart-healthy whole grains.
Yes.
Right? Okay. And that's all we did. And we yelled at everybody. And then experts, nutritionists, doctors, physicians would say things like, if you want to have 2 eggs a week, that would be fine. It'd be better if you just had the egg whites, and just remove the yolk, And it's basically... What they're saying is I wish you ate oatmeal with tons of brown sugar in it and got really fucking fat and carb loaded before you went to work or school. But I would be okay with you eating 2 things that are God's gift to nutrition that every creature on God's earth would eat and benefit from.
Dinosaurs.
If you remove the healthy part of it... and just ate the part that's just white that didn't really have any nutrients. That's where we landed with the experts in 1982.
Yeah.
That's what the experts said.
Hang on.
The experts.
Hang on. There's another chapter to this, which really is the evil part. And this is the part I'm sure you're going to rail on. But it's why Cheerios still says heart healthy and part of the good breakfast. Because the experts, the evangelizing experts,
yes,
think Deborah Burks,
right,
get a hold of the regulators and the bureaucrats, and now it can't change. Now things that are insane get put ensconced in laws and structures and regulations that are insane and stay that way for 30 years.
Well, and then you get Kamala Harris is like, 200 economists said my plan of taxing the shit out of everybody is going to bring us prosperity. Like, okay. Is there any crossover between the 51 experts who signed the letter about Hunter Biden's laptop? Those intelligence experts?
Those guys.
That's another group of experts that all signed something?
Yes, we'll have a group of intelligence experts and a group of economist experts, all of whom we can stop fucking listening to. Right,
because they're going to sign a thing. Okay, that's awesome.
At least we know who they are now.
Well, that's my whole point. Now I'm done listening. So anyway, I told Joe.
Listen, you told a story on the Adam and Drew show, which for the ACS world exists. Check it out. But about how you were one of the early, I guess we'll say, victims of fake news and the sources.
I was a pioneer victim of fake news.
Yeah. You were as always at the forefront.
Yes.
You want to tell that story?
I do. It was 15 years ago.
Is it
plus?
Yeah.
I kind of think it was when my first book came out, and that's why I seem to remember it was 15.
Okay.
I say 15 plus.
2009. I mean, all right. Yeah. Ish.
Could have been 16 years.
Yeah.
Doing an interview about the book, and at the very end, the guy went, "Who's funnier, men or women?" And I said, "Men," because I feel very strangely compelled to answer questions.
Yeah.
That nowadays people don't feel that compelled, but
well, you also answer them thoroughly, and there's no expectation anymore that your thorough response is going to get reported.
Right.
That's the problem.
But what I wanted, which we recreated on the Adam and Dr. Drew show, is I said, Drew, here's what I don't want. Ask me who's funnier, men or women.
Who's funnier, Adam, men or women?
I grew up middle class, in a middle class neighborhood where people cared about their lawns, you know. I've been a prosecutor, so I understand how to handle these things. Now, I want an answer.
Yeah.
And it feels weird when there isn't an answer. It's also a sort of a semi-admission of guilt.
You don't want to be part of that.
I don't want to be part of it, but it also sounds like you did something.
Yeah.
Or didn't do something.
Yeah, you're hiding something.
It's an admission of guilt when you do not answer the question. Yeah. So I said men are funnier than women because I was given a choice, men or women. And as I've said, the story or the answer is either men are funnier, here are your choices. Men are funnier, women are funnier, or it's a statistical dead heat.
They're identical.
They're identical. There's exactly as many funny women as there are funny men, and they're the same amount funny. So I thought about all my funny friends. I also thought about how things like practical jokes and prank phone calls are the domain of men. Yeah. My sister didn't make didn't make prank phone calls. I did. And Jimmy did. Mm-hmm. You know, and his sister didn't. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it works. So I said men, and then I said there are plenty of funny women, and Kathy Griffin and Sarah Silverman are funnier than any of the guys I went to high school with. Fine. Then that got turned.
And did you make the point about the evolutionary piece of it and how men are trying to be attractive by being funny?
I said, yeah, it behooves men to be funny because they can get laid, and that's kind of all roads lead to spreading the genes.
So it motivates more men to attempt to be funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
All right.
Okay. But also, I think I'm pretty safe statistically just saying men are funnier because there's especially this 15 years ago, it was hard to find a female comedian.
Yeah. And by the way, on your explanation tour that you had to do the next week or month, whatever it was, you kept saying there's tons of really funny women that are funnier than most men.
I didn't really go on an explanation tour because I still had my policy of fuck off.
Yeah.
But I definitely never said women weren't funny.
Yeah.
And that's the way it gets brought up.
So the
guy
fake news
who
was
said,
Adam says women aren't funny.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if I ever do something, they'll go, oh, the guy who said women aren't funny came out with a funny show himself that's not so funny. Now who's funny? And it's like, I don't know. All right. In my world, you're not allowed to just lie about what people say.
Well,
if and you don't like the person. Now, I get those people don't like me. That's fine. And then they can bring up any accurate thing that I have said that you can take umbrage with.
Yeah.
But what you can't do is lie about what I say.
I think we need
and
to call
then
it,
do it.
We do invent the term victim of fake news. You were a victim of fake news.
Well, I mean, to be honest, the way human beings work, and there's a couple of, there's kind of a couple of famous sayings, that the lie goes around the world before the truth can get its shoes on in the morning or something like that.
Nice.
And there was a famous saying from a guy who, got accused, historically, got accused of being a scoundrel and a Benedict Arnold or traitor or something like that. And it sort of was exonerated. And at the end, they went, oh, okay, you're good now. Like, you're good to go. And he said, I'm good to go, but what do we do about my reputation? Like, how are we ever going to get that back?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
that's not a concern these days.
No, but what I'm saying is after I'm gone, my daughter will have to have somebody bring up to her one day, your dad is the guy who said women aren't funny. Right. We're not interested in corrective measures either, like going back and fixing any of this or straightening any of it out. No, not at all. That's the whole point. The reason it was lied about in the first point was to do damage.
Yes.
All right. So there are these 15 things that I found interesting. And the title was, somebody tweeted me, or maybe Dawson. Dawson's eating something now, ironically, but a lot of this is, it says, you've been lied to.
Yeah.
The American health system wants you obese. So I'm starting to believe that now. I'm really starting to wonder. I mean, you know why you should wonder? Here's what you should wonder. Here's what you should really think about in terms of the system and are they nefarious? You, during COVID, start floating the idea of hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin, and you are fucking assaulted.
Yes.
And every news anchor screaming at you and wants you deplatformed.
Right. Or just killed.
All right, that sounds like they're in the pocket of Big Pharma. Being agnostic about it does not.
Yeah.
But attacking. During COVID, when Bill Maher was the only human being going, hello, why don't we lose some weight here, people, and get some sunshine, and everyone starts attacking him.
Yeah.
That makes me wonder if there's an agenda versus we're not sure. See, that's the era we're living in. We're getting a lot of, they didn't know back then what they were actually deplatforming and attacking people who were talking about these things. Yeah. So that is not... They didn't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, myth number one.
Yeah, but by the way, let me just point out, as we get into this, but Callie and Casey Means, the brother and sister combo. Casey is a Stanford-trained head and neck surgeon.
Been on the show.
Okay. And Callie was a lobbyist. And Callie particularly freaks me out, because he points out repeatedly how the techniques, he was one of the people that used the techniques of the tobacco industry to forward the food industries.
He is sounding the alarm, but people, you are being manipulated at worst. Well, manipulated at best, lied to, essentially. And your government is either in on it or turning a blind eye to it. And it is fucking your shit up, and your kids are fat, and you're unhealthy, and you're angry at Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? Like that.
Or Sean, what's his name? The orthopedist that advocates for the Carnivore Diet.
Yeah,
Sean Baker.
Yes. Listen, at a certain point, people, it's on you. It's on you at a certain point. 10 years ago, it's not on you.
Yeah.
Now, it's on you.
Yeah.
There's just enough. All right. Myth number 1, eggs raise your cholesterol.
Yeah.
Which I think we have. I don't know if we're planning on playing this. We're not.
Gary's a buddy of mine, by the way.
No one knows who Gary is, Drew.
Okay, we're not playing it. Okay. Here we go.
Who's Gary? Drew, don't just say Gary's a buddy of mine in the middle of something, because we're not sure what you're talking about.
Health
who we're looking at,
we're
Gary?
Looking at his video. So Gary Brecker.
Right. All right. Gary's a buddy of mine.
Well, I thought you were going to say something about him. So, okay, wrong mistake.
No. It's right up there with the thank you.
If only you had an editing button here, you could edit live.
Edit. Pow. All right. So eggs do not raise your cholesterol. My poor grandfather was eating toast with margarine on it 3 days a week because he thought eggs raised his cholesterol because he got lied to.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2. Oh, God. Myth. You need X amount of glasses of water a day. By the way, this is still going on with women. And
I love the way it bleeds over to dogs.
Oh, yeah.
The canine dehydration syndrome, whatever it was.
It's feminine canine hydration disorder. Or no, it's feminine. Wait a second. I came up with an acronym. No, the acronym is fucked.
Yeah.
It's feminine hydration canine disorder or fucked. Because women are obsessed with dogs drinking. And women are obsessed with hydration. And I can't talk them out of it.
I know. That's why it's delusional.
But also,
can't be
you don't like chick think or chick thought. But what I'm thinking, here's what I'm saying. Whether it's protocols at home for COVID, or it's hydration, or whether we're eating eggs or smart, healthy choice imitation margarine, women are driving all of this.
Well, let's think about it for a second. Not only are they driving all of it, they've been, speaking of victims, victimized by Madison Avenue, by Don Draper.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Yes.
That's where it was targeted in the 60s and 70s, and it has stayed.
Right.
Because back then they were, though, because women are making the choices at the home. No, more than that. There's something, it's fertile soil for this somehow, the female brain.
Well, women, okay. Men can no longer override women. Women always made the decision of what laundry detergent to buy or what butter to bring home or soaps or margarine. Yeah, right.
Lotion.
Right. But in the past, we had a system in place where the person who provided the funds for all the stuff that you bought at the store got a vote as to what you bought at the store.
Right.
We've decided that that's a certain form of oppression now, and that the person who pays for all of this no longer gets a vote.
And to be fair, a lot of women are paying themselves.
That is true as well. So the system has changed. And so with women driving most of this, well, then they're going to be the myth perpetuators. And that's why this stuff moves so fast and takes hold so hard.
I would argue that Madison Avenue didn't realize they had that in their hand. They didn't realize that this would pass along generations and stay with people. And
all right. Anyway, you can read it from here, but what's it say, Drew?
Myth: you need 8 glasses of water a day. No, you should rely on thirst. That's it. Yeah, you drink water if you can, but my God.
For 25 years, I've been saying, okay, everyone's drinking 80% more water than they drank when I was a kid. Why is everyone so fucking fat?
Exactly.
That's all I've said.
Well,
and they go, every nutritionist says. And I'm like, okay, then why is everyone so fat if everyone's drinking all the water?
And Adam, much like we grew up in the era of an impending ice age due to climate change, we also grew up in an era, we lived in Los Angeles, we both played football. You at a different level than me, I'll admit that. But still, same heat, same environment, same exertion levels. How dare you guys laugh at me? And we were told, don't drink water. You were not allowed to drink water until the end of a 3-hour practice. Here, take these salt pills if you want, but we don't recommend that.
We were told, we got a break after about an hour an hour and 15 minutes of just running wind sprints in the San Fernando Valley, full pads. We got a break, and the break was you could run to the drinking fountain. It was at a high school, and there was only 3 spigots and 34 guys.
Yes.
And so everyone would run toward it, and the answer was just a rinse.
A sip, a sip maybe. Oh, not even a sip for you guys?
Well, they knew you were so starved for water that you would drink it, but they would yell, just a rinse, gentlemen. You don't want to cramp up. So back in
You're gonna be on the field during the game. You got to get used to it.
In the 70s, they could run you in circles while you were completely sweat out every ounce of fluid in your body.
110 degrees.
Well, yes. And you were not allowed to rehydrate because you'd cramp up.
Here's a little historical detail.
Who are we listening to now? That's all I'm saying. Like who's talking now that
all
you
those
people
kids
are listening
dead,
to?
Right? They all died that summer, that September
right,
in the valley.
Keep scrolling. Yes.
Listen, just a little historical detail. How many guys just nearly killed themselves running down the cement to the water and sliding up on their cleats?
Oh, when they had screw-on cleats.
Right? Happened every day.
But to see, there was a
desperation.
There was a
we
strategy. See, there was a strategy, which was at some point you knew when it was coming. Like you just finished whatever drills and this drill and that drill. And then at some point you knew it was coming. Now, do you run and sprint for the drinking fountain and try to get there first and inhale as much water as you can?
Yeah.
Or are you a little more leisurely, let people get in front of you, but if you go last, you can take your time. But
the coach could
you
call
could
you
be
back.
3 from the end, and the coach blows that whistle and goes,
right.
everyone bring it back.
No, that's too risky.
I can still hear the sound of the guys who sprinted, who are winded.
Yeah.
Sucking water and panting. Like trying to, and it's a small stream coming out of a drinking fountain, and inevitably some dick would put gum in it, so it would spray. And this guy panting out of breath, attempting to inhale water as he's out of breath.
I remember it as vividly.
That sound, you hear it's like a slurping sound.
Get out of the way. We got to get another guy in here. And it was, and mind you, let's remind everybody, the coaches blew the whistle before everybody got water.
Yes.
They would always do that because it was dangerous. They wanted to kill these young males.
There's nothing on the sideline. All right. So skipping breakfast.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Truth, skipping breakfast or delaying it like intermittent fasting can help regulate hunger and maintain energy levels. That is very true for me.
100% true for me. I literally stopped eating breakfast several years ago, and the energy level is better. Also, this thing, again, it's a lot of chick think. Oh, my blood sugar's low. That's why I don't have energy. I don't have energy because I have too many toxins and blood. My blood sugar's low, and he needs to get something heart healthy and nutritious before he's got a long day. Look, you take a car.
Don't.
You got a tank for fuel, but when the tank's empty, Drew, you see what I'm saying? The tank is empty, then how's the car going to go down the highway? Okay, and then there's toxins, and that's the radiator. I got a car metaphor for every nutty chick thing, body thing.
Yeah.
You saw it, the calcium and the impurities build up.
Toxins.
Well, but no,
even the
that's
car
your
has
body.
Toxins. Yeah.
But the radiator has impurities and calcium in it, and then that goes into the engine, and the engine runs sluggishly. Okay. Your body has toxins. What do you got to do? You got to flush your radiator. You understand?
Dust the water.
You know how many conversations I've had with women about, after that massage, you better drink a lot of water. I'm like, why? I've done nothing. I haven't moved. This is the least amount I've moved. Even when I'm sleeping, I move more than this. Well, when you get the massage, all the toxins get released, and now the toxins are in your body, and you got to drink the water to flush it out after you get the massage.
Oh my God!
You know how thirsty you are after that massage, Drew. Oh, yeah. You're like at that drinking fountain at the spa, sucking up,
just like those guys in high school.
Yeah. It's 2024. 86% of women believe toxins get released when you get a massage.
And by the way, let's
speak well of our education system.
Let me drill into that whole idea. So I think what the practitioners worry about is that they're actually breaking muscle apart and releasing CPK, which is an enzyme in muscle, and that can clog kidneys. And do you know how many? And it's called rhabdomyolysis in that case. And do you know how many cases of massage-induced rhabdomyolysis kidney failure there are out there every year?
I will say it's tied with the number of healthy people under the age of 18 who died of COVID.
I'd say it's even lower.
How could it be lower than fucking zero? Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, toxins released.
Yeah. And by the way, we're trading here, which is interesting. A guy named Constant wrote about this in the 19th century.
I do want to jump in real quick and go, for those of you who are like, so what's wrong with just drinking 9 glasses of water a day? I don't know. It's like for everything in your brain that's wrong, you've taken up space for something that's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's not infinite.
Yeah.
There's it just means you're wrong about a lot of shit, and that carries over into many facets of life.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like my mom being wrong wasn't limited to health and nutrition.
Yes.
It was unbridled in terms of what she couldn't be wrong about.
And I would argue that your mom
could be wrong about,
and those of her like exist rather than live.
Yes.
And there's a guy named Benjamin Constant in the 19th century wrote about how the main risk of our republic, or republics like ours, is that they will convince us to give up our freedom for safety.
Ugh.
And this is all about safety, uber alles.
Yes.
All of this bullshit. Safety.
Well,
That's not living. Living is risky.
Safety is how you manipulate women. Women control the house.
Well, but safety is something we all bought into.
You barking to me about safety doesn't move my needle.
No.
I will assess everything and then decide whether to do it or not.
I know, but you're not the average person these days.
Right. But I wear
this bullshit.
I don't get into a race car without wearing a helmet and a fire suit.
That's right.
So I understand there is such a thing called safety.
Yes, but you mentioned something on the Adam Drew show that people can no longer assess risk-reward because they're not using their hands and they're not out there solving problems and they're not doing risky anything. And so they lose a relationship with risk and everything becomes about safety. And they go, oh my God. And so when COVID comes around, one death is too many. Yeah. Oh, so therefore we can't drive because one car death is too many. So no more driving. Okay.
All right. Number 4.
Myths, all calories are equal.
This one we don't need to spend much time on.
300 calories of broccoli different than 300 calories of ice.
I think we get that one.
Yeah. Well, I would argue people don't. But there's a part of here that is not explicit in that information, which is that insulin is your enemy. And all the good, carbohydrates and all that from the 80s, that's all about raising insulin levels. And that turns out that's more dangerous, certainly, than egg yolks, for sure.
Number 5 myth, carbs are the enemy.
Yeah.
I tend to subscribe to this.
Yeah, I did for a long time,
there's such a thing as better carbs than others.
The real myth, the real enemy is insulin, right? So if you get complex carbs, you can keep your insulin balanced. And you can even eat pizza and have a donut once in a while, keep your insulin balanced, provided you're not doing it every morning.
Scroll down. I just want to see what they're talking about. They're talking about, no, I'm sorry. I'd like to see the examples of the carbs. They're talking about yams and oats and potatoes and pumpkins and peas and stuff like that.
That's good carbs. And by the way, you don't want to eat those all the time. I would say limiting carbs is a reasonable thing, but it's not the enemy.
Right. But what they're sort of saying is a sweet potato has carbs and so do McDonald's French fries, but you're better off with the sweet potato.
That's an issue of insulin and also appetite. So I've noticed that if I cycle some carbs, it helps me with appetite management during the day.
If you cycle some carbs, what does that mean?
Meaning bringing carbs in on a kind of on a regulated basis.
What kind of carbs?
So these kinds, ideally, the stuff we're looking at here. But I will bring in other stuff too. And if I'm not doing it all the time, like I'll bring in dark chocolate, and I will sometimes bring in whole wheat toast like this, and
Yeah. All right. Well, the point is if you're, pardon the pun, getting that granular about it, you're fine.
Yeah.
They always go, nobody ever got fat eating bananas. You know what I mean? And you can go, well, Vinny says bananas have a lot of sugar in them, and they do. But that's not what we're worried about.
What it all boils down to really is just eat consciously. But you got to have the right information to eat consciously.
Also, there's a thing that people don't really get with eating. Eating is a percentage of it is sort of biological, and I'm hungry and I need food, and it's been too long since I've eaten food. And then there's an emotional component to it.
Oh,
now, look, I don't want to sound like an
social
asshole.
Social and emotional.
No, I mean, what I'm saying is yes, people eat when they get depressed, and there's things. And my mother used to do this when I was a kid, and there's all that. No, but what I'm saying is people think they need to eat lunch every day.
Right.
For an instance,
that's a ritual,
or breakfast every day.
Yeah.
It is a ritual, but when you're in the middle of it. Like any religious ritual, it feels important.
Yeah.
And there was a guy named Casey Millette, old race car driver, nice guy. And I could remember years ago, like 7-8 years ago, Casey would come by the shop, and I'd go, hey, when are we going to the kebab way to getting lunch? When are we getting lunch? And we go, we're going to go for lunch. And then Casey would come by. I'd go, hey, Casey, we're going over to the kebab way. We're going to get lunch. You want to come with us? And he'd go, I don't eat lunch. And I'd go, what's wrong with you? And he goes, I don't eat lunch. And I go, oh, that's not right. I need lunch. And he's like, I don't eat lunch. And I'm like, I need lunch, and we're going to lunch. But really what it was is a reward for working for 3 hours.
Right.
And then at some point, you skip breakfast and you skip lunch, and you do not feel any energy drop off or lack of focus or even hunger, but you have to do it. When you're in the middle of it, it's a ritual, and you just do it.
And also know your biology too. I mean, some skinny people just they can burn shit off all the time.
Oh yeah.
There's a intermittent fasting diet called the Warrior Diet, and I always wondered, why would my style of metabolism get through genetically in the old Russian tundra? And when you look at that Warrior Diet, oh yeah, that's right. Those back then, they would eat once a day. They'd sit down after the battle and they'd cook a rabbit, and that was that. They eat like a maniac late in the day, and they wouldn't gain weight.
Right. All right. Next, number 6. Sorry.
Eat every 2 to 3 hours to boost metabolism, which is hysterical.
See, you know what's weird? The thing that I keep getting back to is why in the modern times of, space exploration and smartphones and stuff, do we still have this weird gypsy old lady think, remember it got so popular. It's like you need to eat like 6 to 8 small meals all day, every day.
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's the key to weight loss. Mm-hmm. Oh, is this coming from the guy who told me eggs were going to kill me 10 minutes ago, or the person said I need to drink a sparklet 5-gallon jug of water every 20 minutes? Like, what you need to do is have small meals every. You know what this is, Drew?
What?
These things. Here's an interesting thing that you and I have never discussed.
Okay. It's not a big territory.
I know.
So I'm interested.
Other people's discoveries, witticisms, jokes, or ideas are not interesting to me to repeat.
Okay. Yes, I'm listening.
I don't want...
See, I repeat them. I do.
I don't want to repeat them.
I get that. I know that about you. You don't even want to repeat what you've come up with.
Yeah, well, I figured out you have to if you're going to do stand-up. But
right. Well, that's why you used to not do stand-up, you told me.
Yes, I didn't want to repeat. I don't want to repeat stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like. So when somebody says, 8 small meals a day are the way to go, and you tell me, I don't pass it on.
Right.
That's his idea.
Yes.
And it's not my idea.
Well,
and
listen.
I have an aversion to it. But what I realized through COVID is and beyond is everyone has this weird lust to do that.
Yeah.
And so these things spread like fucking wildfire because people love quoting other people and not giving them credit. They love being the expert who quotes that thing.
Do you know what you would never be, I realize, based on this particular quality? You would never be a member of a cult.
Oh, no, I would never.
Ever. No way. Impossible. And I could be.
Yes.
And I probably was when I was, I remember in my training in medicine, I was looking at something I did automatically because a certain nephrologist that I respected taught me to do it. And I thought, why am I doing this? Well, he taught me to do it. I was like, but that's kind of culty to do that.
I remember like as a kid when you'd hear, kids stuff and they'd go, possession is 9/10 of the law. And I'd think to myself, I'd be 11 going, I'm no lawyer, but if I snatch something out of your hands and I'm holding it, the law wouldn't side with me. Like, I don't own the law, wouldn't side with me.
You had to live with Ray, who did that routinely. You better not be.
I remember, I remember going, that's lame, and I'm not going to repeat that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. And it's, by the way, I didn't coin it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I that is I believe that to be true about you. I think that's accurate.
But I do finish almost every joke with "Get her done," because it gets such a response.
Or you can call me Ray.
And you can call me Jay. Or you can call me Sonny.
Yeah,
all right,
gimmick guy.
Next one.
Red meat is bad for you. Oh, for God's sakes. Red meat, let's be clear. Red meat is the best source of protein there is. Grass-fed, finished beef, carefully sourced, does not get better than that. That's one of your best nutrients.
All right. But remember, meat was murder.
Oh, well, they're still trying.
Now, remember, my mom hasn't made a steak her entire life.
Wow.
My mom has never bought any red meat, steak, hamburger, whatever. She's never. Actually, she did do a spaghetti dish that had some ground meat in it. So she may have done it.
Maybe it was lamb.
No,
she would definitely not do that.
She's never bought a steak or a chop or anything and brought it home and cooked it her entire life because meat was sort of politically bad, but it was also bad for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, and when I think about meat, my relationship with meat is kind of complicated. I was on the Carnivore Diet for 3 years. I loved it, but I gained weight. And I thought,
hold on, you gained 7 pounds.
I gained 12 pounds, really. But the point is that meat does have a bit of calorie.
Yeah.
You got to kind of pay attention to the volume.
Well, but not if you're not doing the potato with it.
The point I'm making is I was in the world where you could eat as much meat as you wanted. I would just eat whatever the hell I wanted. And it's like, well, there is
and eggs, and you were living in a world wasn't just a steak every single day.
I would have a steak every single day, but I was also eating eggs and cheese.
Yeah, eggs and cheese. I mean, I'm looking for clarity here, Drew.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. There was a whole, again, I grew up at a time and with a mom who said steak is bad, eggs are bad, pasta is good. Mm-hmm. That's how I lived. Mm-hmm. Or I was subject to it since I didn't have my own money or my own ability to shop. Although I did shoplift whole turkey legs from Gelson's.
Wow, look at you.
First off, just imagine thinking that my kid's doing this.
Yeah. Well, how about what you did to your neighbors' pantries?
Well, that's a rape.
That's right.
What Hamas did on the 7th was not as bad as what I did to my neighbors' pantries when I baby fucking sat. I would go
Don't say baby fucking sat.
Baby fucking sat. I would go.
Too many rape alerts.
You're right. I would go to the Gelson's, which is still there in Studio City, walk to the back, go to the deli section. When they put the deli section, back when we had a society that functioned and we didn't have to lock up the cartridges for the razors and the deodorant and shit, they just put the deli section in the back because you'd go to the back, you'd get your deli food, your hot food, and then if you would dutifully pay for it when you checked out. They weren't anticipating this guy who was like, Oliver Twist-esque, starving all the time and wanted protein. I wanted fucking cooked meat, and I had my mom making whole wheat pasta with unsalted sauce, and it was just a fucking pile of mush. And then my Dumbo dad eating cottage cheese and raisins sounds good for dinner. Like I was like, fuck this. No. I didn't have a penny. Go to the back, go to the deli section, get a whole turkey leg, fucking shove it down my pants, and like limp out the front. Turn right, go down the alley, and eat it in the fucking alley. Because
you're like a bear.
Two hands,
like a bear coming,
wiping sweat, warding off alley cats, urinating on my spot. I urinated on my spot in the alley because I caught another guy eating a turkey leg there once too. I was like, whoa! We had to throw down. We rammed each other. I put my head down. I rammed. He pulled his turkey bone out of his back pocket. I lunged at him with my turkey bone. After I vanquished him, I urinated on him too because I want to get the message out. You understand?
I understand. Who wouldn't do that under those circumstances?
Yeah, I penetrated him as well. We had sex too. Because I had to show him who was in charge.
You had to do.
And then I urinated on him when I was done with intercourse.
On him, so it's all right. All right. He's had to soil him one way or another.
Joe's got a question about red meat. Sorry.
I do. This feels like it's another one of those myths, but I'd love to hear from Dr. Drew. I eat a fair amount of steak, and I like to have a steak and a glass of whiskey or a steak and a beer. Every time somebody sees me doing that, the word gout comes up.
Well, listen, if you have gout, which you do not, a way of creating an attack or precipitating urate crystals in the joint space is with high levels of purine and alcohol. So shellfish, some steak less so, alcohol adds to it. And sort of classically back in the turn of the 18th century, the gout victims were these fat old aristocrats who drank brandy every day and ate high levels of purines. So there you go.
You're a real doctor, just a love doctor.
Myth 8.
Myth 8.
Cholesterol-rich foods cause heart disease. Dietary cholesterol has minimal impact. That's right. Cholesterol is not the issue.
God, that's all we talked about.
I know.
Like literally, the worst thing you could put in your body is margarine.
Yeah. And we did
the worst thing you could put in your body is margarine.
Yeah.
And my entire childhood, everybody I knew had margarine in the refrigerator because they wanted to be heart healthy.
Yeah, and so the point on this myth, they say inflammation, not cholesterol, causes heart disease. That's a little bit misleading. Inflammation, though, is a very much influenced by these seed oils and canola oils and margarine, all that shit. Kate Shanahan makes this point all the time that it stays in the fat, so it's distributed there for a long time, and it is a source of inflammation. Now, what do we mean when we say inflammation? That's a term that gets thrown around wildly these days. Essentially, this kind of inflammation, we're talking about the relationship between the lining of the arteries, it's called the endothelium, and certain cells, macrophages, and certain oxidated lipids. Okay, so the LDLs get oxidized, and the macrophages help. And there's even some theory that it's the insulin that actually causes the damage to the endothelium, and the body's trying to repair that damage, and it ends up laying down cholesterol. So it may be a reparative process. Which is interesting.
How bad are we going to find out these seed oils are one of these days?
I am an acolyte. I am.
Drew can't wear his headphones like a normal person, so they put them down, but they just fall off
because I have
everywhere.
to do a bunch of stuff on camera today, and
it's not going to mess your hair up.
You'd be surprised how I walk out of here.
Please.
All right, fuck it.
All right. So listen. Here's what I'm saying. The seed oil, the sunflower oil, the corn oil, just whatever.
Yep.
But it's okay. So let me just see if we can shed some light on this.
Yep.
All oil, all you really have to do is go any oil except for olive oil and avocado oil and
tallow.
Tallow,
and
which
butter.
is, but but I'm just in the oil the part.
Yeah.
If there's any other, because people go, what's the difference between safflower oil and seed oil and whatever oil? It's just
all bad.
All bad.
All bad.
It's all bad. It is everywhere.
Yes.
And people have no fucking idea how crazy ubiquitous it is. There's nothing you can buy that doesn't. You get a pack of almonds.
Yes.
Pack of salted almonds from the airplane.
Yep.
Just so you want a snack, sir. Just sitting on my this morning. Just sitting on my coffee table. I just came back. They gave me the pack of almonds. I threw it in my backpack.
Yep.
Turn it over. Safflower oil.
Yeah.
I took every chip.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as you buying salad dressing. There's no such thing. It's all. If the thing says Newman's Own Italian olive oil and vinegar, sunflower oil is in there as well. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mayonnaise too. Mayonnaise, really careful with
everything. Now, here's the thing, everybody.
That may be the reason we're obese. That could be the whole thing.
It is,
yeah.
And it's all we've done, and we switched out butter
syrup.
for corn oil and
syrup.
whatever, and corn syrup
corn oil,
and everything, and it is everywhere all the fucking time, and you have to bring a jeweler's loop with you and read everything because there's no such thing. You think you're buying stuff? You think you're buying even stuff that's like Nature's Valley and Healthy Valley and Pure Valley and Organic Valley. Turn the fucking package over. It's
100%.
all there.
Yep.
You have to work hard to avoid it. But here's like the weird good news. The mayonnaise, like, I don't know, Primal makes mayonnaise or whatever.
Yeah.
The mayonnaise with avocado oil tastes exactly the same.
Yes,
There's
it does.
no drop off. You usually when you go, we did the substitute for this and now it's not as good. We didn't use sugar.
No, it's just as good.
It's just as good.
Yep.
And the salad dressing.
Mr. Kensington has an avocado one.
Right.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And the salad dressing with 100% olive oil is just as good.
Of course it is.
Or better.
Yep.
But you got to find it. And I'll tell you the problem too. You can't go to a restaurant and order a salad.
I know.
Because it's getting covered in fucking seed oil.
Yep.
So you have to go to the restaurant and you have to ask for olive oil and vinegar and lemon.
Yes.
And just like squeeze it on yourself.
Listen, and also I recently became aware of the seed stuff, the cashews and the almonds being, I didn't know that. And just like a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh shit, it's here too. You have to ask for raw, everything.
It is in every cracker, every liquid. The weird thing about the oils is it's in every liquid and in every solid.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Everywhere, all the time, and I don't know, and it's why I like guys like RFK Jr. because they're the only human beings talk about it. Yeah. Listen, we're all fucking fat. Every kid, the reason kids are fat is because there is nothing they touch that doesn't have that oil in it.
That and the corn syrup and the bullshitty choices that are yummy and addictive.
Right.
That we can't break out of their clutches.
Yes.
Here's myth 9. Salt is bad for you. So this is a complicated one.
Yeah. So everyone was beaten over the head with salt.
Yeah.
Sodium.
It both is associated. Taking sodium is associated with, guess what? Longevity. So salt may be good for you. Unless you have a medical problem.
Yes.
So if you have congestive heart failure, no good. If you have certain kinds of hypertension, no good. If you have leg edema, no good. So there is specific circumstances where salt is bad, but not as a general diet for young people probably has no serious impact and maybe a net benefit.
All right, we'll just do 10. We'll do one last one, and then Dawson do a little news with us.
All right. I can't even get through 15. There's so many fucking myths, you know?
Yeah, I know. Myth number, whatever. All plant-based diets are healthier.
Oh, boy.
No.
Just look at somebody on a plant-based diet.
I know.
Look at Sean Baker. Healthier? No. Listen, if you want to be on a plant-based diet, good for you. But you got to be really aware as you eat.
All right. We'll take a break. Dawson's got some news. Drew can hang out for a little bit more. And we'll do the news with Dawson right after this. Rosetta Stone. Learning a new language can be good for travel, but can also be good for business. That's right. Speaking someone in their native tongue. It goes a long way. Rosetta Stone is the most trusted language learning program available on desktop or as an app. It truly immerses you in the language you're trying to learn. 30 years, millions of users, 25 languages, Spanish, French, Italian, German, Korean, Chinese, Arabic, it's all there. Designed for long-term retention, no English translations, learn to speak, listen, and think in that language. Plus, the built-in true accent feature gives you feedback on your pronunciations. Lifetime membership has all 25 languages, 50% off. It's Rosetta Stone, right, Dawson?
Don't put off learning that language. There's no better time than right now to get started. For a very limited time, Adam Carolla Show listeners can get Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. Visit rosettastone.com/Adam. That's 50% off unlimited access to 25 language courses for the rest of your life. Redeem your 50% off at rosettastone.com/Adam today.
Ethos. Well, I've invested in property and cars. Stuff I do. Keeps, you want to protect your family. You want to be responsible. Life insurance is important too. Ethos makes getting life insurance easy. I think a lot of people think it can be difficult or complicated. It's not. Apply for affordable life insurance. It's quick. It's easy. You can do it online. You do it without a medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. And you get a free quote in less than 10 minutes at ethoslife.com/Adam. Under 10 minutes, get a quote. That's it. You got to be responsible, people. You're an adult. People count on you. Now be responsible and get yourself some life insurance. Term life policies from 10 to 30 years of coverage starts as low as $10 a month. Personalized coverage to your family's needs as well, like helping your kids through college or your spouse with the mortgage and more. Dial it all in for what you need. 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 1,900 reviews. That's Ethos. Right, Dawson?
Protect your family today. Get up to $2 million in term life insurance coverage in 10 minutes with Ethos. Answer just a few health questions and get your free quote at ethoslife.com/Adam. That's ETHOS life.com/Adam. Celebrating 15 years of podcasting, here's a memorable moment from the Adam Carolla Show's Ace Awards archives.
I found myself a new mother. She's a heavy-set woman of color. Big Mama got it all.
Oh!
And she fights for me. She fights for me.
Well,
She's
you should
my boy.
be fought for. You're handsome.
That's something my mom would never say that.
I'm your mama now, baby.
Yeah, that's what I love about you, Big
What's
Mama.
wrong? You got to complain about something. You got to let off your chest.
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to do.
Huh? What was that now?
What we're going to do.
Oh, okay.
No, I haven't said it yet.
Yeah.
No, let me say it.
Sure.
No, I'll say it.
You have the floor, baby. My titties itch.
No, people are yell something out that I can't complain about, that they think I can't complain about, but I'll find a way to complain about it.
I already know what you can't complain about, Adam Carolla. Carolla.
Now for some new memorable moments, let's get back to the Adam Carolla Show.
Jay Moore's Big Mama.
So good.
Big Mama's got all. It sounds like a joke, but I do fantasize about having a big black mom who just gave fucking.
For you and me, what that character was so appealing. Oh, so appealing because we had the opposite. Like somebody fighting for you, supporting you. How confusing.
Somebody where I could, when I was 9, could knock some kid off his Schwinn, kick him and take his bike and put it in my backyard. And if his mom came to my house to get the bike back, my mom would fight her on the lawn.
I don't need to go all the way there.
My son is no thief like that.
No,
but I had the 100% opposite.
I mean, too, in a weird way, at least in terms of advocating and supporting, I had the same.
Yeah.
Also a good time to mention the show you do with Jay Moore, Beat It Out.
Oh, yeah.
Available on Substack.
Yeah, Jay's super funny.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, since we just had Ed Calderon in the studio yesterday.
Security, just for Drew, Mexican security expert.
I saw this last night, and there's since been some added to the story, but the decapitated head of a mayor in Mexico was found atop his car just 6 days into his tenure. marking the second official to be murdered in Guerrero's capital city in less than a week. The body of Alejandro Arcos, the 43-year-old mayor of the city of Chilpancingo, was found inside his pickup truck Sunday night while his head was propped on top of the vehicle.
Maybe he's just trying to use the diamond lane. That's a ploy, you know. Cop sees one guy driving, other guy's head's hanging out on the sunroof. Like, oh, it's a couple of tall dudes, and a real tall guy and a shorter guy. They're driving.
It's one of those weird convertibles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Burt Reynolds movie, now you're going to have to look for this, Joe. In the Burt Reynolds movie, Gator. Burt Reynolds in the early 70s in the movie Gator.
Okay.
He was a Florida Gator.
Okay.
He was doing, I don't know, PI, cop, I don't know the fuck, when in the 70s, Burt Reynolds, it was all cars skidding out, and Burt chewing gum with a mustache, you know. No one knew what it was about. But in Gator, the guy from the Bond movies, Jaws, the giant guy with the teeth, he was one of the heavies. He was one of the bad guys, and he drove with his head hanging out of the sunroof of like a Lincoln, like a, probably like a
Lurch?
73 Lincoln or something. No,
different guy.
Lurch was a different guy. Sorry.
The day of his murder, Arcos had visited Chilpancingo neighborhoods that were damaged during Hurricane John. The people are still reeling from the murder of a new government secretary, Francisco Tapia, who was shot and killed last week. And here's what happened. There are young and honest officials who sought progress for their community. Senator Alejandro Moreno wrote, Guerrero became one of the deadliest states for local politicians and journalists. At least 6 candidates for public offices were killed in Guerrero leading up to Mexico's June election. So basically what happened is he got offered the silver or the lead.
Yep.
And being a man of moral character, he chose the lead.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, you don't choose the lead. You just choose not to take the silver.
Right, it's
and
a choice.
hope you don't get the lead, but the lead will be coming.
But that is the choice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Mexico's really turned into a shit show.
Oof.
Who was the actor from Gator who was 7 foot tall?
Was he the same? He was the same guy from the Bond.
I think he was the same guy from the Bond. Yeah, he was the same guy from the Bond.
Richard Keel?
Richard Keel.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. All right. Now, you got to find a picture of him hanging his head out of that sunroof. Because it could have been where the cartels were inspired. A lot of those guys like 70s Burt Reynolds movies.
Yeah,
Of course. It's well known.
Yeah. Smokey and the Bandito. Someone's got to put a list together. All right, here we go. Well, we'll find it.
The city's previous mayor, by the way, was videotaped allegedly holding a meeting with leaders of the gangs that control the area. So she was videoed, so she was expelled from office.
Right.
And then this guy went in to run, and the cartels are having none of it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's getting bad.
Getting
also,
bad. Oh, there it is.
There he is, driving a Ford LTD with his head hanging out of the sunroof. Looking a lot like that mayor about now.
Is that the snowman in the passenger seat?
Jerry Reed?
Yeah.
It looks like the snowman, but everyone had long hair and sideburns.
That
and
guy
wasn't
could be either Starsky or Hutch, and I wouldn't know.
Well, the deal is nobody was fat.
Right.
Everybody was 40 and looked 63, and they all had long hair and sideburns.
Yeah.
So and maybe a mustache. So we couldn't really tell anyone apart back then. You know.
Yeah.
That was how we did it.
A lot of style compliance.
Yes.
Because the styles were also shitty. If you didn't comply, you'd stand out.
Yes. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right. There's a retirement community in Walnut Creek, California, close to where I grew up. It's called Rossmore. It's a beautiful enclave, hidden private golf courses. You got to be 65 years old there to live. It was basically started, I believe, in 1965 by older conservative people, but lately more and more, let's say, non-conservative people are getting in there. In the community of Rossmore, there is a Palestinian support group.
Hold on. I'm assuming our guest is here, or or maybe not. I don't.
But I've heard this story, and these guys are coming to blows on the golf course.
Yeah.
There's
a beautiful
old
golf
men
course.
are out there fighting about politics.
Yeah.
Wow.
In the golf course.
I installed dishwashers there and other kitchen appliances,
did?
and it's the most beautiful place on earth.
They now have
Tell whomever's in charge of the guest sign to put the guest sign up when the guest shows up, because otherwise I get confused because I see him through the window, but then I don't see the sign, so then I wonder.
So I'll tell you.
I've never heard you mention that before.
I'll tell you this.
It's like, wow.
I'll tell you this one part
in
of the
Dawson's
story.
argument for Dawson's, I had to put guest on both sides of the sign because he used to put the blank side out and look at the guest side. But yes, there's been a lot of discussions about.
Well, that wasn't me.
I know he just walked in. I understand that, but I'm staring at him for a little while and there's no sign, but I'm not totally sure if it's the guest or sometimes they have people they travel with.
So on July 13th, Rossmoor's pickleball courts were abuzz with activity. That Saturday, about 24 residents milled about a pickleball court around the time former President Trump survived an assassination attempt at a Pennsylvania rally. According to witnesses, an enraged older woman barreled in and approached the courts. Quote, "She came in yelling at us that the president had been shot," recalls one onlooker. And she was daring anyone to say yay. A scuffle ensued between the woman and a septuagenarian female. Is that 80? 80 plus? 70s. Okay.
I told you it's almost exclusively women fighting now.
Yeah, 2 women.
Which is a part of my presentation about bitches gone nuts.
Your presentation.
I've been trying to make a case for women have gone nuts, and they've gotten way too full of their own shit and empowered, and they're fucking up a lot of stuff, and it's not good. And every time we go, well, we got another female elected to the city council, and everyone goes, oh, this is progress. No, it is not.
I gotta tell you something. Again, I always point out that I'm studying the French politics very carefully. The women there have not gone nuts. They seem quite composed and sane all the time.
We weaponized our women here by telling them no one could tell you what to do, and you're a queen, and nobody whatever. And now they're fighting in airports.
Well,
so
we've done something different, that's for sure.
Yeah, something's different. Yeah, so
these
women
old ladies
and old people are fine. Like everyone
and to be
is
fair. Maybe we're just behind the French. 100 years ago, the French women were forming communes and killing people.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
No, that's next.
Oh, shit.
The women were kicking, hitting, and pulling each other's hair. Walnut Creek police were called to the scene.
Here's a thought. I don't know what the answer is, but I suspect the answer. If you polled your average Trump-hating woman and or Trump-hating man, especially on the younger side, and you said, do you wish that assassination attempt was successful?
Yeah.
I think a higher percentage of young women would check that box than the men.
I hear it. They say it out loud.
So what's going on? Because that formally wouldn't have happened.
I know.
They would have hated whomever, but they wouldn't have checked the box. Now, I'm not saying the box is...
They're oppressed and they see him as an oppressor.
I'm not saying the box is 90% to 10%. I'm just saying I think a higher percentage of women would be all right with that. And I think you know what I think it is, Drew?
What?
Well, you see the movie Valkyrie with Tom Cruise?
I'm familiar with it.
Well, if you watch that movie Valkyrie with Tom Cruise, it's about the guys trying to assassinate Hitler.
Yes.
Everyone in the movie theater is rooting for Tom Cruise to assassinate Hitler.
Right.
Why?
Well,
Hitler bad?
They know what he did.
And what he was doing.
Yeah.
Right. So, if you believe it,
Right.
then you would root for it.
That's right.
So probably a higher percentage of women believe it.
Oh, that's why.
So then you would root for it.
That's why I keep saying that people have become delusional, and the idea of accusing the other people of lying. Be careful with that. Their thinking is disturbed.
I'm still going to call them liars.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, Dawson.
That's all right. No charges were filed because of insufficient evidence, but one resident of Rossmoor says, and this goes as a Republican, he just says, I just want to be left alone, mostly.
That's mostly Republicans, period, isn't it? Isn't that sort of the vibe of Republicans? Had always been, anyway.
So if I'm at the bocce ball court or something, I don't want to hear unsolicited political comments. But this, you got to see Rossmore, man. If I was 65, I would totally live there. But when I had to work there in my early 20s, I wanted to create let's take it back.
You install dishwashers
Dishwashers, ovens,
I'm 66,
lines,
and the idea
like
of going to live somewhere with a bunch of old people is just the oddest idea to me.
Yeah.
I'll get there, I guess.
But you see this place, and you're like, it's all old people. But man, it is the most beautiful piece of real estate.
Speaking of old, do you see Belichick has a 24-year-old girlfriend now?
Yeah, I love that.
Good for him.
It's so entertaining.
Well, I don't, as long as everyone is of age and right-minded, then who cares?
I don't care. I just think it's there they are. Mm-hmm. I just think it comical meets odd meets interesting.
Well, if you think about it, if you think about the part where the physicality is not such a high priority for women.
Right. But resources are, for some especially.
Right.
Yeah.
So. And
we've said, don't get married, don't have kids.
Well, Belichick is not, an ugly troll of a man. Nope. He's for a 74-year-old or whatever. He's in fine shape, whatever. But if you go, look, where do our priorities lie as a woman? And you go, well, physicality's up there, but it's not at the top.
Yeah.
Resources are up there. Personalities up there, sense of humor, like whatever it is. And we get to the physicality part. Well, Bill Belichick, one of the greatest strategic minds since General Patton.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the guy you get to hang out with.
Not only that, but let you're 23 or 24. You want to tour around, have an exciting life for 4 years? Fine.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I don't think it's about money. I think it's more about we will take the physicality, put it in the back seat. It's going to be in the car, but it's in the back. And I will take a bunch of other shit and let them ride shotgun. Yes?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Okay. That's why it's comical, guys. I'm just saying.
Let's do one more.
All right.
Shavo's here, and we got to figure out how that story went.
Well, you know how much...
At the restaurant.
You know how much you hate the guy who runs on Thanksgiving? All right.
I don't like that guy. That's Drew.
That's me.
But that's why I don't like him.
What if? What if?
It's because...
What if
Sorry.
you could take a pill and get the exact same effects that you would if you were running a 10K?
Never happened, but keep going.
Now,
researchers in Denmark say it has.
Okay.
Well, again, when you say Denmark, we go, okay. If you say Mexico, we go, get the fuck out of here.
They've developed a new drug that mimics the effects and benefits of strenuous exercise without moving a muscle.
Okay.
I'm
listening.
Here's the deal. It's the same way.
No free lunch in Mother Nature. There'll be you'll grow an arm somewhere else.
Listen, all those with the so much Ozempic talk and Mounjaro talk or whatever, I just shot a stand-up special. I wanted to lose 10 or 15 pounds before the stand-up special, and a month out, I just said, sorry with the potatoes and sorry with the cake. It's going to be protein, and that'll be that. And
guess what?
That was that. And I fucking had one of the, some of the shittiest meals ever with my girlfriend and my daughter, watching them devour sushi while I'm eating beans in front of them, or hot peppers sauteed with the fucking piece of raw fish. And they're just noshing on the fucking California rolls and all the rolls. And I'm just sat in between them going, ironically, I'm paying for this. I'm fucking miserable. Drinking an iced tea, with no sweetener in it.
You're a hero. You are.
You can do that for a month and you will lose 13 pounds like I did, or you can take the shot and do it as well.
Scary way.
Or you can just do it.
But
here's the real problem.
Okay.
you take the pill or the shot, you've lost the ability to do it.
Right.
And then that bleeds into every facet of your fucking life.
It's back to cold showers. But
right.
But something like 30-40% of people on the shot stop, and the weight loss is not very well maintained when you stop. But do you know the number one reason they stop the shot? Cost. Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the drug is currently called Lake, I believe, or Lake. It's been shown in lab rats to flush toxins and strengthen the heart, in addition to triggering the release of appetite-suppressing hormones. The spike also flushes fatty acids from the bloodstream, replacing the risk of conditions like heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes, and participating in the body's repair system.
I'll wait to see.
No matter how great a pill or a shot is and how miraculous it is, I'm still always against it if it means you don't have to engage in a behavior that is healthy, because I just think that spreads. I believe that Drew's consistency and discipline with diet and exercise also is why he's a physician, and is also why he was able to pull double shifts, and also why he's able to travel on weekends and lecture and stuff like that. I believe it's all intertwined.
One thing I noticed when I used to be a gym rat a little bit, but the guys that were in the gym all the time, eventually, they may not have always been the most motivated or sort of work ethic, but they all ended up doing a lot of stuff. All of them ended up just really succeeding in various ways.
Yeah. All right. Shavo's here, best from System of a Down. Drew and I were ruminating, speculating about our famous System of a Down dinner.
Yeah.
What year would you say that would be?
Oh, my God. Was it 90s? 99?
Yeah. I was going to guess and say 99.
Yeah.
We have to figure out when System of a Down really hit.
Remember the first time we saw them was at the Best Buy parking lot in Arcadia. Remember? Were you backstage there? And we're like, what is this noise? It's so loud.
People were going nuts.
Nuts.
Well, that was a calendar signing.
Was it? Yeah, I can believe that.
Do you remember me turning the whole crowd against me at the calendar signings?
I don't.
They would have these goddamn calendar signings, and they'd be, it's at the parking lot at the Best Buy in Claremont or something. And I'd go, look, first things first, I go, the station's in Burbank.
Yeah.
Everybody here lives somewhere around the station or can get to the station. Yeah. Why do we have to go to Orange County for all these things? They go, there's a big fan base in Orange County. I go, yeah, let them drive out to Glendale. Why are we all having to make the pilgrimage to Orange County?
Huntington Beach or Westminster.
Yeah, it was always a fucking 2-hour drive. And I'm like, let them... And then they'd line everybody up, and they'd slide all the calendars down, right?
There we go. Let's go. Come on now.
And Tammy Heidi would be putting, bedazzling her name with glue and stuff.
And having a big conversation.
And I'd be going, move it along, move it along, move it along. There's 500 people waiting in line. Move it the fuck along. And then they would go, come on, we're taking pictures with people and stuff. I go, look at the line. Look at the line. It's never going to end. And they would go, we're taking pictures. I go, Jed the Fish, whoever. Sign your name, slide it. Yep. Sign it, slide it. And they're like, we're taking pictures, and I'm bedazzling my signature. I go, look at it. There's 1,000 people. And then at some point, I stood up and I said, listen to me. I'm leaving at 5. I'm out. You fuck around with the calendars all you want. It's 2:30. We're out at 5. This thing says noon to 5. I'm out at 5. That's it. Fuck around all you want, but I'm leaving at 5. And they would still fuck around the thing. And at 5, I just got up and I said, I'm out. There's still 200 people left, and they all start booing me.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we went into the Best Buy.
Oh, yes, we told the lady to fuck
Drew's favorite story.
That's so good.
How you tell that story?
I can't. No way I could tell as well as you. But you want me to try?
Give it a try.
It'll
Drew and I are walking through the Best Buy after the signing,
and I don't remember what we were looking at.
I looked for like a
hair dryer
portable
or something.
phone.
Yeah, portable phone, something very random. And I don't remember what the woman came up to you and said. I remember what you said, but she said something like, it's kind of, hey, Adam, great to meet you. How do you feel to be such an asshole or something like that? And Adam just goes, fuck off.
No.
Scram.
No.
No?
See what memory does.
Wow.
When I tell you what I told her, you'll know immediately.
Hold on, let me see, because you barely looked up at her, and it was something like Scram.
Yeah, she just came and said, "Want to know why I was such an asshole?"
Yeah, and I don't remember. I would have said Scram at the.
First off, you ever heard me say Scram?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think.
Dawson?
Now I'm doubting it.
I've heard it.
You've heard
It's
me say
not
Scram?
too often, but yeah, I've heard it. Mainly when you're telling
I'm
stories.
making fun of old people.
Yeah.
No,
I've heard you
I'm not
say
saying
it.
I don't know the word scram.
Yeah.
I'm saying, do you hear me use
I've
the
heard
word
you
scram?
say it when recounting stories. When you're saying stories. So
What did you
said
say? I wanna know what you
yeah,
said.
Yeah, just tell them what you said. I've heard it. I've heard you say it.
You didn't say fuck off.
Dawson, you have a unyielding energy for this kind of stuff. No, I don't say scram. I never say
Okay,
scram.
we'll accept you.
I said beat it.
Beat it.
Okay.
Yes, you did.
And yes, I have said beat it.
Yes.
I never say scram to
Yeah.
anyone. But if I'm making a story about an old person.
Isn't it
That's
interesting that beat it
all I'm
Scram?
saying.
No,
I've
you're
heard
saying,
you
say the story, you
It's
say
the hard
scram.
thing here.
No,
How
I
beat it-
said when you're
Listen to-
recounting
I'm
a story.
saying, where does your energy to disagree so fervently come from?
The fact that I'm right and I heard you say the word scram, I
That's not
didn't
what we're
tell
discussing.
you. I didn't tell you that you used the word scram in conversation
No, I
when
said
you're
to
saying
Drew,
scram.
when have you ever heard me use the word scram and you dove in and said I hear it all the time?
All right, so listen.
That's the part I'm reacting to.
Isn't it
That's the
interesting?
part I'm talking
I'm more
about.
interested
Why
in-
do you feel to jump in and negate my story is what I'm saying.
I'm not trying to negate your story. I'm just agreeing with Dr. Drew because I've heard you
I
say
asked
scram.
Dr. Drew if he'd heard me use the word scram, and you dove in. Why?
I did. I'm here with a microphone. I feel that.
I think there's something different. You may not be aware of it.
Okay.
Couple
Just
questions.
that energy. That's all.
would
And then you went hard on it when I told you I didn't
I-
use it. Yes.
Okay.
Well,
I
is
gotta
that
get going
accurate?
pretty soon. I want to see Shavo before I leave.
I don't want to disagree with you anymore.
No, you can disagree, but I'm saying I think it's invisible.
I'm saying I've heard you say scram
Tell you what,
before.
I'm gonna move
in
into that
conversation,
seat.
not as telling someone to scram.
You said when you hear me tell stories, I'd say scram.
You've used the word scram when describing a story. The word has passed through your lips. That's all I'm saying. I've heard you say it. I'm not saying you've ever told anyone to scram.
But
Okay.
what's interesting is that I put beat it and scram at the same place in my head, which is kind of
Yes.
interesting.
All right.
That's kind of weird, isn't it? That beat it and scram go to the exact. They were
Beat-
like
I've never
exactly
said
the-
scram
I
to
know, but they're
anybody.
exactly the
I've heard,
same.
I've heard
know
you say
the word
beat it.
scram.
I've heard you say beat it a million times when
All
you're
right.
telling people to
Well,
beat
I
it.
said beat it because I don't use the word scram because scram would be comical.
Right.
And beat it would be authoritative.
You would tell people to fuck off too, right?
I have done that.
Yeah.
Yes, I have done
Now,
that.
I'll go over there while Shavo comes over
Yes,
here.
and we will try to confirm this story.
Okay.
All right, right after this. Home chef drowning in a sea of meal kit options. It's like a bad dating game show. And all the contestants look the same. Well, that's where Home Chef comes in. Fresh ingredients and chef-designed recipes delivered straight to your doorstep. Over 30 options a week covering a variety of dietary needs. I like these guys. The stuff is fresh. The stuff is abundant. I lean a little more toward the protein, trying to watch the carbs. One that I really enjoyed was crispy brew pub mustard chicken with sweet potatoes, roasted sweet potatoes, the good kind of carbs. Anyway, classic kits, pre-portioned ingredients, speedy recipes, ready in less than 30 minutes, oven-ready kits with pre-chopped ingredients and microwave meals in minutes. Save an average of $86 per month on groceries. Yeah, groceries are super expensive and not as good as this. Home Chef even has a delicious kid-friendly family menu with 18 new options each week. So if you have a picky eater, it's picky eater approved. It's Home Chef, right, Dawson?
For a limited time, Home Chef is offering our listeners 18 free meals plus free dessert for life and, of course, free shipping on your first box. Go to homechef.com/Adam. That's homechef.com/Adam for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. You heard that right, homechef.com/Adam. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. They're in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly offers friendly, helpful service and the parts and knowledge you'll need for all your maintenance and repairs. I've always gone to O'Reilly. I used to live up in the Hills and La Crescenta. I'd go the one up on Foothill. Still there. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock, either in-store or online, so you'll never have to worry if you're in a jam. The team at O'Reilly Auto Parts can test your battery for free in or out of your car, which is nice. You don't have to pull it. If it needs to be replaced, they'll help you find the right battery for your vehicle. Need your windshield wipers replaced, brake light fixed, quick service? They'll help you find the right part or point you to the nearest local repair shop for help as well. Whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, you'll find the team at O'Reilly knowledgeable, helpful, and best of all, friendly. So, the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are your one-stop shop for all things auto, do-it-yourself, and you can find what you need in the store or online. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Ace. Juliet here. I've been listening to your rants about Purell and Mom's obsession with clean kids. Well, not this mom. We live in the country and we frequently wash our hands in water troughs. My 12-year-old hasn't been sick in 5 years, and I've had a 6-year run without so much as a sniffle. Oh, and neither of us have stomach issues either. Get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Shavo Odadjian, System of a Down is where you know him from, and other ventures as well. 22 Red is the latest one. We'll get into that in a second. Drew's got a minute and a half before he's got to
get out of here. But 99, we hit it right for the Best Buy event.
The Best Buy, yeah.
The Best Buy event when System of a Down just came on to the scene. It was the two biggest sort of pop bands. I don't mean pop music, who just hit was System of a Down and Korn.
Yeah.
When they showed up, not at the same time, not the same band, but I'm saying other bands sort of warmed up and slid into spots, and you'd go like, those guys are Coldplay's pretty good, maybe, but they didn't go boom, like people going nuts
overnight.
We were on the show a lot. We came to Loveline a lot. We did some other shows with you guys. I just remember so many good times.
Before Drew has to hustle out here, we're trying to figure out this comical dinner that we had in Glendale, California. 99, 2000, somewhere in there.
I would think it was later.
A couple years later.
Yeah.
It must have been a little later because you guys hit.
We hit in 2001.
Okay, so it must have been 2001. And so we end up at Carousel in Glendale, which is great food. And
for those who don't know, more Armenians in Glendale than in Armenia.
In Armenia.
By a large margin.
At the moment,
now.
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there's a lot more immigrants in Armenia now from like India and neighboring countries.
And I'm convinced Armenians are the lost tribe of Israel. I'm convinced of it.
Really?
You have this whole thing about Noah's Ark being on Mount Ararat and stuff.
That's in the Bible.
When I go to, that's in Armenia. When I go to Armenian events, which we do because of the Garagos connection and whatnot, it feels so familiar to me. It's you get the clergy, they're funny,
very religious.
They're funny. They're talking about import-export business, and they go in and out of this strange language that only the insiders know. It's exactly like being.
You know what it is? It's we're the first actual nation to accept Christianity as a national religion. Where like if you're born Armenian, it doesn't matter if you really believe or not. You're Christian. You know, that's what you're born into, and I think that's how Jews are.
Well,
Israel.
The story before Drew has to skedaddle, which is a word I never say.
I have to scram.
Yes, a scram. Is at this run. So System of a Down is not only a huge band, but in Glendale and amongst the Armenian community, which is a very tight community. Mark Garagos will do anything for an Armenian. That's how the community is. Yeah. So when you show up at Carousel Restaurant in Glendale with System of a Down, you're MacArthur returning to the Philippines. You're the conquering heroes of returning. The guys were very excited.
And John, a million times, so you got to come. You got to come to the carousel. You got to come visit with us. We're gonna have these sandwiches. Blah, blah, you got to come to the carousel.
The chicken sandwiches are dope though.
So then we get there and we sit down, and of course the waiters, the restaurant's abuzz. The System of a Down guys are here, and John does you got to get the chicken sandwiches. You got to get the chicken sandwiches. And the guy's like, oh, we're such big fans. Everyone's a big fan. And he goes, okay, let's get a couple orders of these chicken sandwiches. And the guy's like, that's just for takeout. Oh. And I go, and John and you guys, everyone's like, yeah, but just bring them to the table.
Yeah.
No, that's for takeout. And we go, good. System of a Down. We're in Glendale. We're eating at the restaurant.
Wow.
But bring them. We'll eat them here. It's just for takeout.
It's like a skit.
I go, you can't just bring them to the table? Well, that's all John's been talking about, these sandwiches. And like, yep. And I'm like, I realized the love of saying no was even greater than the appreciation for System of a Down. The guy,
right, dude.
And they're like, no. And I'm like,
cannot have.
And so
they got a little upset.
You guys were like, so what if we got an order? We could eat them in the parking lot? Yeah. Yes, you could eat in the parking lot, but this is for takeout only.
And as I recall, John got very worked up and went into the kitchen.
Oh, did he?
I remember him getting up and going in, because the kitchen was near. We were sitting in the back, and the kitchen's kind of
attached.
Yeah. He went into the kitchen.
I had a bunch of thoughts. A, Armenians love saying no. B, what is the possible difference between something you make and then just hand it out or bring it to the table?
I wonder if it's still like that.
He never, by the way, he never said the reason we have to do this is because of X, Y, and Z. He just went, it's takeout. Yeah. And we just went, well, take it out over to our table. And it's like, no.
Funny.
It's takeout. Like, that's the greatest.
We got to do that again and order.
Yeah, we have to order
the same thing again. Yeah.
Was it the chicken sandwich? Is that
the chicken sandwich is the bomb there?
But that's what had been ordered.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of those sandwiches, I guess, from the main, but I don't know if it's still like that. Because originally, the original Carousel was in Hollywood, off of like Normandy or something on Hollywood Boulevard, and that's where I've gone there when I was a kid, like 14 years old. I had my first job was in the same, same shopping center as Carousel. My dad, I was 14, and my dad, I couldn't work. My dad said, "Go." Look at this guy. He knows how to build electronics, and there's this place where you get your radios fixed and stuff. So I just went, something like that, where like you would just go. So I went and watched, and I learned how to solder, and then so the neighboring store the restaurant was Carousel. Wow, and that's where I had my first chicken sandwich.
Drew's in the parking lot. Drew's got to go.
I got to go. Shavo, great to see you. Let's reunite at Carousel.
I'm going to make it happen.
Brand Avenue.
We'll be doing it. Carousel.
John's in Vegas now?
No, he's here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll see him after this.
Oh, okay. The last time I saw John from System of Down, I saw him in an airport going to Vegas.
Okay.
And so that's where I got my
Well, I
Vegas
think he's by, state. He'll go there for a little while, come back here. He has this business there also. He has the Torpedo Comics there.
And so System of Down, an unlikely band from back in the day to explode the way it did. How did it start? Everyone was just Armenian and living in the same basic neighborhood?
No, we all played music on our own without. We just kind of chose music as a passion. It chose us. And I was rehearsing. It all started in Burbank. Do you know that piano place under the 5 freeway off of Verdugo? The pass.
Yeah.
There's like a piano.
Yeah.
That place used to be called Nightingale Rehearsal. And I was with some band playing bass. I had just started playing bass. I was a guitar player since I was like 11, 12. And I had just picked up the bass, and I was playing bass for this band. And they were called Roswell. Pretty cool metal / alternative, the early K-rock stuff. And so I ran into these guys, and I recognized them from my elementary school. Some of them, like Serge and Darren. And they were playing in a band called Soil, and I knew the bass player. I kind of started all together. And they asked me if I would manage them. And
really?
Yeah, because they're like, you know how to talk, man. You do this well. Because I'm a go-getter. If I need something, I get it done, right? And so I said, sure, I love your music. It's great. And it was just kind of, imagine the music was like 4 or 5 System of a Down songs in one. Very progressive, no song format really. It was just like riff after riff after riff. It was really cool though. And I started managing them, and unofficially, I got him some, I was trying to get him some gigs. I met up with the dudes from Rage Against the Machine somehow. I was going to get him a gig at Zach's house. What went down is the bass player, who was my friend, didn't work out between them, and so they wanted to switch them with me, and I didn't want to do that. I was like, I'm not taking your spot. It's like taking your ex-girlfriend kind of thing. You know? So long story short, when they invited me over to Sergio's house to tell me this, I said, I feel weird doing that. Why don't we just start a new band? And just like, we'll use parts of those songs and we'll have a new name and it'll feel better. So we did.
Where'd the name come from?
It was a poem that Darren wrote, and it was called Victims of a Down. And it just didn't rub me right, the victims, I was like, I don't want to be a victim. So then he went back, and I told him, like, that's the reason. I just don't want to be a victim. And what if we get big ever, I said, people are going to yell victim, and I don't want to be that, So he came back with System, and I was like, done. Because System, there's victims within the system, but it's a broader, and it's cooler word. I feel like you can say system without sounding cheesy. It's system. It's always tough.
Yeah, you want to be victim of the machine.
Yeah,
you don't want to rage against the machine.
Yeah, you want to be so it's kind of the system that's still on the downward spiral.
But it's
more
a good
worse now than it was then.
The thing about a name, it's sort of like a logo, which is, it's really hard to define. You'll just know it when you see it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And a good band name is sort of that way too.
Very
it's
important.
like
it's a brand. A band is a brand.
Right. And and the name it's like people have to want to say it versus not want to say it.
Exactly. We were just talking with my assistant as we were driving here, and he was talking about these newer bands that kind of try to not be cool, and like their names, you can't Google them, you can't find them because they use certain characters that don't even exist on your keyboard, right? It's like, all right, but like, what's their goal for the what's the
Right.
Like, where are they going, with that?
Yes.
I mean, it might be cool for the first time, but then you're never going to be found. You're going to be stuck in your garage, playing,
Although I do like Toad the Wet Sprocket.
That's a cool name. Now
that we know what it is, it had to be a tough sell. Back with the bandmates in '93.
My new band is called 7 Hours After Violet, which is another, but that's S.H.A.V. So it's an acronym.
Right.
But so that was a tough one too, because everyone wanted to call it S.H.A.V and Shavo, and it's like, I'm not.
The System of Down does plays, but doesn't tour.
We
anymore?
tour.
Oh, you do
but
tour,
but not like long tours. We're playing shows nowadays. Just big shows. You know what I mean? We'll do events.
Right.
Which is, I'm not saying we'll never tour. We will, but we finally got everybody to agree on something. So let's take it
on touring.
Yeah, man. It's like it's best when everyone wants to do it. I don't want to force anyone to do anything. That's not cool, No. I can only imagine if it was me, even though I'm that member from the time we met to now, I want to play. I'm in a band to play, to make music, to tour, to perform. That's my thing. I love it, right? So for me, it's always a yes. A few members, it's not always a yes.
I don't, I've always... It depends. I guess it kind of depends on your background. After we finish, I'm going out on the road and doing some shows. I always go on the road and do shows. My background is so sort of poor and pedestrian and blue collar that going and playing a show doesn't really even feel like work.
It doesn't feel
like
what
I want to do.
That's what
I got into the business to
agree.
do it, So when people go, why are you working so hard? I go, I'm not really working. This is what I signed up for. And then the other part is when people really start getting granular about it, like, well, you have to get on an airplane, you have to stay at a hotel. It's like, buddy, look around and see what everyone does. You see that guy across the street on the roof?
Yes, thank you.
With a hot mop, spreading tar. It's 105 degrees outside.
Blessed to be at an airport waiting for your flight.
First off, you are doing what you wanted to do for a living.
Period.
blessed.
Yes.
Already way ahead of humanity.
You're speaking my language.
Everybody in humanity, half of humanity was enslaved for the first half of humanity. In the second half, you just did shit you didn't want to do.
That you had to do. So
that you had to do. So you get to play music. I get to do comedy. Way ahead of where we ever thought we'd be when we were in the 10th grade.
Correct.
So already ahead of the game. So we don't have to get all that granular about like where are we going or is there a layover or where's the hotel? Let's go. Yeah. I'm that way too. I don't get the people that have too many questions about stuff. Like there was one thing that always stuck with me, which is Jay Leno. And he's a friend, but he just always said to me, it doesn't have to be that difficult. You know, I'll go like, Jay, I got a doc, it's a car doc. We'd like to sit down and talk to you, but get you on camera talking about blah, blah, blah. And he'll go, yeah, okay, tell my person I'm done. And I'll go, thanks, Jay. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate the time, Jay. And he'd go, yeah, it doesn't have to be that hard. Like, it's just fine. Who cares? I'm sitting down talking about cars. He likes cars.
With a friend.
With a guy I like. Yeah. Okay, good. Like, I feel like show business breaks, they get a little too granular. Maybe it's all the publicists or all the agents or all the people that are doing it.
I don't even like the middlemen too much. Like they're necessary, but I kind of, like this was through a publicist, but it could have been between you and I. If you saw me somewhere and said, hey, get on the show, I'd be like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Same as Jake, you know?
I agree. A lot of it is weird with people. A lot of people, it comes down to like travel. Like I'll go like, come over, be on the show. I'm on the west side. It's like, get in your fucking car and drive for 31 minutes.
All of Southern California is on the west side if you really look at it. You know?
I came in from Malibu today. Bro. It's like, just get in your car. You got a radio in there?
Yeah.
You can listen to stuff.
Easy, bro. Anything.
I know, but is that your general wiring, or was it having to work as slave labor at a Radio Shack when you're 14 that sort of got you like, I think all of my construction background is what made me go, fuck, we're going to a place where I get to hold a beer and tell jokes.
I think it's both. One is the passion towards what I do, what I'm lucky enough to do. Mm-hmm. Two is I've always worked. I've always grinded. I mean, I started off there, and then I ended up at Mossy's Kebab in freaking the Glendale Galleria when I was 16.
Really?
After that, I worked at Mrs. Gooch's, which was the original Whole Foods in Glendale.
Oh, that's right.
I did that, and then after that, I was working at a bank, and then I was delivering. I was in System of a Down, and I was delivering flowers for Mark's Garden.
Oh, the little flower shop.
Yeah, in Ventura, and I just did things. You know, I didn't necessarily have to do it. I mean, it was a job, bro. You do it. You know. Brings opportunities, and I would roll my J and drive it the truck with the van with my knee, and I deliver flowers. It was cool, bro. Whatever, dude. I'm gonna be rehearsing that night. You know, it's like, what am I gonna do? Sit around, watch TV? You know, like that's cool too. But if you can't just be doing that.
So, how long was System of a Down knocking around before we figured out that you guys blew up in '99 or hit? Were K-Rock in '99, but Nobody heard of System of a Down at K-Rock in '99, but you were playing the concert for the signing or whatever it was.
It was all kind of clockwork, bro. I took the role of manager and bass player in System of a Down, right, as it started. So right away, I was working at the bank. I was doing wire transfers at First Interstate. Mm-hmm. And
what year are we?
95. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing wire transfers, and after every call, we already had about 8 songs. Mm-hmm. So after every call, I would hang up and try the Roxy or the Whiskey or the Troubadour or the Viper Room, you know, and I would be like,
call them up.
Just call the office and be like, this is Shavo. I play for a band called System of a Down. We need a show. We want to do a show. They're like, do you have a demo tape? And I would say no, because we couldn't afford at the time. It wasn't like today when everybody has a demo tape because you have a computer or a phone even.
Yeah.
So you have to get an engineer, you have to get a studio, you know, reel to reel, all that shit. Oops, can I say that?
Yeah.
Oh, anything. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I would just hound them daily. I would call the same people every day. And because it was a catch-22. We didn't have a demo, so you can't get a show. You can't get a show, you can't get a demo because there's no money, right?
Right.
So one day, one of the guys at the Roxy was like sick of me and said, here's a guy's number. His name is Brian Markovich. He'll give you a show. Just sell some tickets. Mm-hmm. But we had already built up this thing within our friends and family where since we couldn't play shows at a club, we had this big studio in North Hollywood on Lancashire. So we'd invite them over, the Armenians and the friends. And and they would watch us play on Fridays. So it was kind of, we were getting ready to play a show. So once we had the show, so I called Brian, and he was here. I'll put you, I don't even know what you sound like. So he put us on this show. It was May 28th, 1995. And he said it was 7 bands, 6 ska bands, and us. And he put us in the middle. So it was like 3 us and then 3 more. And we sold like 150 tickets. And we were supposed to sell like 70.
Right.
But I asked for more because we had so many people wanting to see us. Anyway, so there was like 20, 30 people for each of those other bands. And then we went up 20 minutes set. And the place exploded with crazy Armenians and friends and like the flag and all this chaos. And then the pit started, we had a pit.
Mosh pit.
And then we got off and everybody left. And there was a writer at the time there from this paper called Rock City News. And he went, something crazy went down yesterday at the Roxy. They're called System of a Down. I don't know where they came from, but they destroyed this place and left. So after that, it was easy. We got shows. Didn't have to sell any more tickets. And what we did is once we had a demo, I would pass that demo around in places. It got into the hands of, I think it was Jed the Fish.
Jed the Fish.
Yeah, and he had this like Catch of the Day.
Famous K-Rock DJ.
And so he played that one afternoon. I was actually driving to Darren's house to go to rehearsal, and I hear Sugar on the air, and I'm freaking out. And it was like the version with the cussing at the end, and they didn't bleep it.
Really?
Yeah, so it was hilarious. With the FU, it all goes away. And that just blew me up. I picked up Darren, I was celebrating crazy. We went to the studio, had a great... And after that, it became this, like, people started calling in and saying, we want to hear that song again. And that's how it happened. And then we were on that Furious 5 at 9 for like 5 months straight, #1. That helped a lot,
Jesus.
So yeah, man, it's a history, but I remember every bit of it because I was right in the middle of it doing all that work before we hired a manager,
Doing a K-Rock doc right now. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing all those old people and hearing all the names and dealing with the Richard Blades and the Kevin Weatherlys and the Carson Dailies and all the Jimmy Kimmels. He was at K-Rock. Yeah, he was there. Jimmy brought him there.
I didn't even know Jimmy was in there.
Oh, Jimmy was on Kevin and Bean.
Oh, my God.
As the sports guy.
He
wasn't on as Jimmy
Kimmel.
Kimmel.
Man show thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. That's crazy.
Well, that's
all
how I
that
met him.
happened together, with you.
Yeah, same time, mid-90s.
I love that show.
Mid-90s, San Fernando Valley, K-Rock, System of a Down.
Yeah, it all happened all together. It was like the same universe, We were in the same universe.
Yeah, there's nothing better. There's nothing that really replicates the ride up. There's something, I don't want to sound... Pollyanna-ish. But what I'm saying is Jimmy's hosted the Oscars 4 times, and he doesn't want to host it a 5th time. So if you talk to Jimmy about the Oscars, it's sort of like, hosted the Oscars. He's rich, and he doesn't want to host the Oscars. But the point is the beginning, when everything was new, and oh my God, and they heard us on the radio, and somebody recognized you.
There's no feeling like it.
It was all brand new.
It's just a great feeling, and coincidentally, I'm doing that again with this new act.
Right.
And it's so last night we had our first appearance, first show together as a group. We played Sirius XM Studios down there, and it was live on the air. When I went home, I had that same nostalgic feeling.
Oh, that's
after
interesting.
Like a Roxy gig.
Right.
I came home and I wasn't sure what went down. I was like, it seemed great. And I kept asking people that were there. I was like, was it really as good as I thought it was? Like, did it? And everyone was like, dude, it was magical. It was like, you're doing it again. And that feeling of, I'm blessed, I guess. I'm very grateful to be able to relive that again with something else,
Yeah, no, it's why you have to start something else so you can replicate that feeling, because otherwise you're numb to it because you've been there and you've done that. And
like what you were saying about touring and going out there, I'm not doing that anymore with System as often as I want to. So this will be that for me, where I can just decide it's my band. So it's like I want to go on tour. Let's go on tour. Let's go play shows.
Yeah. No, I think it's important for people to sort of take your ice plunge, your cold plunge in the morning just to know you're alive, like wake yourself up, get yourself into situations that are uncomfortable or different or unfamiliar. Get yourself into situations where there's some question marks floating around.
Given, you know?
Yeah.
There's always that question mark. I love that. That's where I'm at. And it feels great.
But a little out of the comfort zone, a little out of the repetition. Sometimes it's just about, for me, might be trying new jokes.
For sure.
You know, old ones are easy, but now we're going to try something new, trying a new song, you know, but just trying a new band, like just going somewhere that's different and maybe out of the comfort zone. And no guarantees, but if it works out, you do get that feeling again.
Yes, that feeling is, you can't buy that feeling, bro. You can't experience that feeling, I think, willingly. I think it's something that happens.
Yeah.
But it happens after you put some effort in and do it again and take that plunge. Take that plunge of just saying, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to do it again because I love it. And it really doesn't matter how. I had to do it with the thought process of it doesn't matter how others feel because I dig it, I love it, and I'm going to do it. I've done it already. I'm doing this for myself.
When you guys do go out, when System of a Down goes out, playing big festivals now with other bands we may have heard of from back in the K-Rock days or beyond, right? Which is, I'm trying to think, like, who are some of those bands you're out with?
We're out with Korn a lot, Deftones, Slipknot is a big thing. But these are like the rare bands from the 90s and 2000s that actually survived and are still packing places, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I just saw Korn play Saturday night, and they celebrated their 30th. And they played BMO Stadium where LAFC plays. And it was a really cool show. And the openers were this band called Gojira. Have you heard of them? They're the band that opened up the Olympics this year.
Oh, really?
Really, really cool band. A band called Spirit Box, which is a modern metal band with a female singer.
You know, we did a man show.
Darren.
We did a man show bit where we did a behind the music where Jimmy and I became members of the band Korn.
No way.
Did you know that?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, now we got to find.
You got to find that for me.
We got to find. It's all pretty narrated, but it was. I knew the guys from Korn, and we decided to be a funny bit if we did a behind the music retrospective on the long lost Korn members.
That's amazing.
Which were me and Jimmy, and they were playing like the Forum or something, and we went out and shot on stage with them and did the whole. It was a pretty surreal thing, but it was behind the music. Like I guess I was on VH1, but I can't remember.
That's what they did that.
Yeah, and we did a behind the music man show Korn thing that Shavo should see.
I would love
somewhere. It's on our computer somewhere. Probably ran it before, but I think it'll be good for a chuckle. And you also get to see young Korn.
Young Korn. You know, I was watching
Baby Korn.
I was watching that show Monk on Netflix, and they have an episode with Korn in it.
Really?
I tripped out.
They got so
big and
massive, so
massive.
popular.
Yeah.
So I say fast, but I don't know.
It wasn't too fast. They dropped.
How long they were around?
Their first album was '94, and hence the 30 years. But they were around before that as a local band. I've seen them. I saw them a while back before when I was managing Soil, the band before System, and I went to see them play at the Whiskey. And I got to see them prior to all the bigness. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Here's the man show bit.
Am I over there?
Yeah.
Korn. Their legion of fans know them as hard-edged rock music visionaries. But what they don't know is this seemingly invincible band was nearly torn apart by the two members who helped bring them together. Tonight, Korn.
You look
the
great.
Story beneath the music. Our story begins with Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel, two wide-eyed, idealistic sophomores from Bakersfield High.
Believe it or not, when we were in high school, we didn't get a lot of girls. It's true. I can't explain it, but we didn't.
No, and there were these guys in school, and they had a band, and we figured if we got in the band, it'd be good for the chicks. They'd flock to us like mice on
tuna.
On tuna, yeah.
The guys in the band, they were huge fans of our music.
I guess they knew we had something special to contribute.
Adam's dad had a van, and we had a lot of equipment to carry. And Jimmy,
we were pretty high.
But the combination of the band's talent and Adam's dad letting them use his van worked. They started small, high school dances, pep rallies, bar mitzvahs, and eventually grew to concert halls, arenas, and bar mitzvahs. Together they took the music industry by storm. Rock radio caught on, and soon sold-out concerts turned into massive hit singles, millions of albums, and thousands of adoring fans. But Adam, and especially Jimmy, did not handle success well.
We wrote the song Freak on a Leash one night after Jimmy. Well, let's just say he was tripping pretty hard.
Either he was on drugs or ate some spoiled bologna or something. I'm not sure, but he was out of it. He thought he was a dog.
He was running around the dressing room, biting people, humping legs. I mean, all kinds of crazy shit. It was just too much. And then he started peeing. Oh, God. Not just in his pants, everywhere, the dressing room. And that was the end of it. That closed the coffin, so.
The band tried to keep their problems private, but somehow the news leaked.
I called this press conference tonight to announce that Jimmy peed all over the rest of the band. Any questions?
The media had a field day.
Oh, God.
On October 22nd, 1995, Korn decided to part ways with Carolla and Kimmel forever.
Adam's dad sold the van, and I think we knew it was time to end it.
We left them.
We had a lot of new ideas, and quite frankly, those guys were holding us back.
While Korn went on to become one of the world's most popular bands, Adam and Jimmy quickly sank into cable television obscurity.
I don't know whatever happened to those guys. Last I heard, they were doing some show about farting.
Carolla and Kimmel, Korn's forgotten foot soldiers, faded from the public's memory, but a part of rock and roll history forever.
That's great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. I can't believe I missed that. I can't believe, when that happened. No, when that happened, I mean, I never saw that. That's great. It's fucking amazing. You guys are hilarious, bro.
Yeah. Jimmy went all in.
Yeah, he did.
Had a prosthetic penis.
That was great.
And a pump hooked up to it.
You guys went all out for that. That was like great production. Well, you're in the picture with. Oh, is that superimposed? That's superimposed, right?
No,
you were in the picture.
I can't remember if we took pictures with them. I think we did. I don't know if we superimposed it, but
because that looks like a classic Korn photo.
We would go all out with those bits, man. It took a while to film them and everything.
Yeah, man, it was very good. Very.
We were like 3-minute bits, and we'd spend 3 weeks on them.
I'm sure that looks
and
nice.
And Korn was like at the height of their powers, so we're like, they need to come backstage and come out for sound check and everything. And they were nice, but they were like, we do have a huge concert tonight. So move it along. Let's get it going.
So great, though. That you did that. That's amazing.
Well, this isn't about me. I actually want to give you a plug. Yeah. 22 Red. Yeah. Right? That's the company. That's we got the herb there. We got the music there. We got passion there. Mm-hmm. It's all in one place.
It's all in one place. Well, the music is 7 hours, but the brand started in 2018, late 2018, on 11/11. 22 is my lucky number. It's always been. My boys are 2 years and 22 days apart.
Wow.
I'm born April 22, married May 22. So there's a lot of 22s in my life anyway. I worked 22 in the system. I was 22 when System got picked up. I was 44 when I thought of 22 Red. Anyways.
You like Doug Flutie?
No, I don't know Doug Flutie. Sorry, who's Doug Flutie?
Number 22.
Oh, he
quarterback.
Is. Well,
Boston College.
Well, see.
Come on. There's one player you should know.
You got to educate me.
One football player you should know.
Flutie.
It's Doug Flutie.
Doug Flutie it is. All right, that's now embedded.
Was he 22 on the Patriots as well?
All right, that's embedded in my head now.
Or just 22 in college? It's 22 at Boston College. Sorry.
Yeah, well, there it is. So I started a brand. I wanted to start a lifestyle brand back then. You know? And I wasn't doing a lot of music. And so I got my best friend. He does textile merchandise. And we started it, man. And then when the third partner came in, I never really wanted to do a cannabis brand. Really, people, once it became legal in Cali, people kept asking me about it. And I wanted to smoke it. I didn't want to be the business of it. I didn't want to, you know, plus I didn't know who was going to grow it. I don't want to rep anything and put my name on anything that I don't know. You know, who's growing it? Like, it has to be good quality and clean, you know? So once I met my third partner, I went and saw a grow of his. I was like, you can eat off the floor here. And it was just perfect. Everything was perfect. So I said, this I can back. So we added cannabis onto the menu of 22 Red.
So you can go to shop.22red.com.
You could get like t-shirts and skateboards and stuff there because it is a lifestyle brand. And we have, my art department is bigger than my cannabis department. Literally, like I enjoy the art of it. I enjoy the merchandise. I enjoy the posters and the videos. And we make cool content, you know. But we are now live in Arizona with cannabis, Nevada in cannabis. And then I'll announce it now, we're going to be in Maine and Massachusetts by end of year.
Great.
Full production with flower, pre-rolls, and vapes.
Shavo, thanks for coming
Thanks
by
for having
today.
me, bro. Thanks for having me.
Let's do the Carousel reunion dinner.
I'm going to set it up.
Set it up.
I got you. I'm going to Brazil with 7 hours next week for a couple of shows, but once I'm back on the 22nd.
Listen, Drew's there and I'm there.
This is it. I'll tell John today, and we're gonna make it happen. The four of us, we're gonna go.
We'll get those goddamn
sir.
chicken sandwiches
Oh my
after
God.
all these years.
Now we'll have to have them there. Or you just want to order them here. We can just eat them right here on the show. That's a good one too.
Whatever it is, set it up. Drew and I are going to be there.
We're doing this. Thanks for having me, bro.
I'm going to be in Nashville at Zany's doing stand-up. That'll be tomorrow. And then Adam Ray's going to be on stage with me, and Clay Travis will be up there. And then I'll be in Pottstown, PA. Soul Joel's doing stand-up, doing 4 shows this Friday and Saturday. So, see, working, traveling.
I'm playing Saturday too. We're doing Mayhem Festival out in San Bernardino. At the Glen Helen.
At the Glen Helen
That's our
Regional.
first real big show with the band. So, and our album comes out. This Friday.
This Friday.
Album for 7 hours after Violet, self-titled.
Shavo, always great seeing you, my friend.
Thank you so much,
We'll
Adam.
see you at Carousel eating a chicken sandwich real soon. Until next time, it's Adam for Dr. Drew and Shavo Odadjian saying mahalo.